Good evening. Good evening. I think we have critical mass, so we would start, and others will join us as we go along. First of all, thank you so much for making the time to join us at this time of the day. Hope you've had a good day. Okay. So first, I'm going to share my screen. Just welcome you again to this session. So I'll talk to you about NUTM Scholars Program in a minute, but the NUTM Scholars Program has an information session to tell you about the NUTM Scholars Program, encourage you to apply, help you through your application process. So again, we're very grateful that you were able to make the time today for your interest in NUTM and the Scholars Program. The session is scheduled for 1 hour. We'll try to stay, within time so we can get back to all of the things we had planned for the evening. So I would start by talking to you a little bit about NUTM Scholars Program, and then we'll just have a Q&A. It's an easy session. Please type your questions into the chat box, and then the team and I would just try and respond to your questions as much as possible. But I think I would pause to just introduce different members of the team, or at least different members of the team will say hi. At different points, you might get emails from us, you talk to us when you're doing the program. So I'll start by introducing myself. My name is OG, and I'm the director for the NUTM Scholars Program Project Office. As you know, NUTM is a new initiative, and the NUTM Scholars Program is our pilot initiative. So that is all part of a project office, which I drive. So I would hand over to Chika to introduce himself, and then we'll keep passing the mic round until we go through the team. Let me stop sharing temporarily. Over to you, Chika.
Okay, yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Chika Ike, and I am the program coordinator for the Scholars Program. Nice to meet you all.
Great, thank you, Chika. Is Aisha on?
Hi, OG.
Hi, yes. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I will just turn on my camera. Hi. So I work with NUTM. I work on admissions and helping out with outreach strategy as well this year. Yeah. I'm based in India, and I work with the 9.9 education, and I'm currently working with NUTM right now.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Okwemi Adetola, and I work as the outreach and admissions officer at NUTM. So great to have you here. Welcome.
And over to you, Nicholas. Not sure if Nicholas picked that up, but anyway, Nicholas is with our career services and alumni team. So again, just different members of the team, which you will have a lot of interaction with. I think there are other, I think Daniel is here as well. Daniel, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniel Lutabo. I did the brand and corporate communications at NUTM.
Okay, so I mean, other members of the team will join, but largely there's a whole group of people who come together to just make your application process smooth and easy. And then when you do join the program, who help to just make your experience a memorable one. So I'm going to go back to share screen now. Hopefully you've been to our website, or you've had a chance to download our brochure or see our flyer. But if that isn't the case, I'll just again run you through very quickly so we can get into the Q&As. NUTM Scholars Program is really an initiative that NUTM is trying to use to transform Africa, through technology and entrepreneurship education, right? It's a one-year program. It's a fully residential program. And it has, over 20 interdisciplinary courses. So there are no electives, and those courses are then distributed across 6 different tracks, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. It's very practical, and a lot of experiential learning is built into the program. And, for this one-year period, you will be experiencing it, within a diverse cohort of hopefully 60 aspiring other applicants. So this is if you're just wondering what NUTM Scholars Program is about from a curriculum and a program structure perspective. So that's what you can see on the screen. It's kind of broken into 7 terms, right? With the 5th term being a mentorship module, right, called the shadow leader. At that point, you are kind of paired with a leader in the industry to get mentored. It's kind of like an internship. You do work on projects. So it's one of our most valuable models in terms of the whole NUTM's program, NUTM Scholars Program. I won't go into the specific courses, but the point of showing you this is to help you understand that it is a very, very busy and intense year. So you really have to be ready and care for this particular content and the intensity. So when we talk about 6 tracks, we're talking about technology, entrepreneurship, management, leadership, perspectives, and then communication, right? So all of these tracks are then carefully curated in different courses, as you can see, without me going into any specific course itself. But the parts you can see in green represent our experiential learning aspects. So things around the mentorship that I just spoke about, or career readiness, things that we do to ensure that you are work ready and ready to go into industry. Another very key aspect is the TED Lab. Again, part of our experiential learning modules, cuts across the entire 1 year, where you go into an entrepreneurship capstone and learn to ideate and cultivate ideas into hopefully sustainable businesses, right? But even if they don't become sustainable businesses, just the process of learning to identify a problem, think through a solution, and then develop a solution around that. So that's for that, just pretty high level. Another key thing about the NUTM Scholars Program that it's important to talk about at this stage is just really the application, right? Right now we're in round 1. The NUTM Scholars Program, the applications are processed in batches, in rounds, and so round 1, round 2, round 3, and so for a period of 6 weeks or so, we take applications and then we close a round and then we start to process those applications. So the earlier you do apply, the earlier your application gets reviewed. So we're currently round 1 now. Round 1 opened 30th of January, and it's going to run all the way to 17th of March. And then round 2, we start 18th of March the next day and run all the way to 30th of April. And then the third round will start from 1st of May. And then the final application date is 16th of June. The admissions process, I think I would like for Aisha to just walk us through the admissions process here. It's very quick. It's a 4-step process, but I think she's the expert on this. Aisha.
Yes, so the first step is you apply, your application is submitted, and we review your application. Then if you are, then you will receive an email if you are moving forward to the next stage. So if you do, then the second stage would be an online assessment. The online assessment would be a general aptitude test where there'll be some basic questions on reading comprehension and basic numerical questions or attention to detail questions. Then post that, if you pass that round, you'll again receive an email saying that you're shortlisted for the next round. Then the next round would be telephonic interview with one of the team members, and post that the 4th round is our panel interview where the senior members of the team would be speaking with you and trying to gauge if you are fit for NSP and if NSP is fit for you. And I think, and post the 4th round, then we'll just make our decision and let you know.
And it helps to really guarantee the quality of the class makeup at the end of the whole admissions process. Okay, so yeah, so that's really summary, because hopefully it's an engaging session where we actually spend more time dealing with the questions that you have. So we're going to move straight in, but of course, we always try to remind you, applications are open right now, so please go to our website to apply. But I'll stop sharing just so we can engage, and if you don't mind, just put your questions in the chat box. Right? Questions. We also have, of course, some FAQs which we can address, and hopefully it may preempt some of your questions and then respond to that. So I think I have a question talking about can you apply if you have a master's degree, and the answer is yes, you can. In terms of requirements, so what we need, the requirements to apply for the program are for you to have an undergraduate degree, and be age 35 or under. Outside of that, you can have a PhD, you can have a master's, and you can apply. And then I have a question here saying, how does one then qualify for a full scholarship? Well, when we started off, the first year and the second year, we it was a pilot, so we did set out with a fully funded scholarship, but that required us having a sponsor as well. So again, those fully funded scholarship pilots are over. So what we're doing now is ramping up in bits. I think so we do know what it costs us to deliver the NSP at the quality and the intensity that it is. So everyone gets a 77% discount on that cost of 21 million. So right now, to participate in the NUTM Scholars Program, the cost to you, highly discounted, is 4.5 million naira, right? And we do make exceptions here and there for people with special needs or international students, or people from difficult areas, but those are like serious exceptions. And then there's a whole process with the Financial Aids Committee for dealing with that. But for now, we no longer offer like fully funded scholarship. The cost to access the program is 4.5 million. Okay. You have a question. What is the panel interview like? Is it physical or remote? The thing is, and the NSP got launched in COVID year, so we have we're a very post-COVID type of initiative. So while the design is that personal interviews, could be in person, so far we have actually done them remotely, and that will probably be the case for this year as well. It's just that the requirement is that your video has to be on, because the reason for the personal interview is to engage with you, see you, get to know you, and also read your body language and all of that. So it is going to be remote this year, but with your video on. Are there still slots for fully selected? Okay, we've answered that. There are no slots. There are no slots for designated for fully funded scholarship. However, additional discounts and depending on some extreme criteria that is processed by the Financial Aids Committee, there are some exceptions. But in terms of standard, no, there are no fully funded scholarships being offered. What does the program mean for a person currently working full-time, considering how much intensity in the program, as you mentioned? Yes, so the thing is, because it's an adult program, we cannot insist that you do not work. Well, we strongly recommend that you do not work because of how intense it is. So it's one of those years that you have to be ready for. You're just at a point in your life where this is an investment you want to make, and other things in your life kind of align with allowing you to do this full time. So that's as far as we go in terms of just strongly recommending that you do not work during the year. So there's another question about, what if your degree transcript is not ready but it's in process? Because the requirements are so minimal, right? So you either just having an undergraduate degree is the only, it's the only critical requirement, and age 35 or under. We do need your transcript. We need that to also assess you to be part of the class, and then we need your transcript to be available by the time you actually start the class. I think, let me see, what other question do we have? Yes, so that's on the transcript. You also have another question. You talked about how many applicants are called for the interview and how many will be selected. There is no fixed number, right? Everyone who qualifies from one stage of that first step process that Aisha spoke about is moved on to the next step. But the size of the final size of the class, who makes it into the class, really depends on the quality of applications that we do get. And then what we do try to keep the class size to 60. So there are usually 60 slots every year. Okay. You have a question about, can an undergrad with expected graduation date slated for July 2023 apply for round 1 deadline? The thing is, anyone can apply, right? So if you're in final year, you can apply, and it's not going to count against you as you move through the process, as you move through the first stage process, right? But the challenge is going to come, would you have your transcript? So even if you got an offer, if you don't have your transcript, you won't be able to register, right? So yeah, you can apply at any point in time. You want me to break down the perspective track, right? Okay. Let me see. Might need to borrow Chika here, but let me share that slide one more time. Hold on. Okay. So you're asking, let's not get into the detail, but I'm going to share it very quickly. You're asking about this perspective slide. So you can see courses like contemporary African politics, sustainability, public policy in the African context, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So maybe I would, two people can weigh in here, Aisha and Chika. But Aisha, do you have, what are your thoughts on these perspectives, why these courses, and how do they make the NSP program more richer?
Yeah, so I feel like it just gives you a wide view of what's going on with the whole diversity and equity courses. It gives you a perspective on the whole work life that you'll be moving forward with.
Agreed. Chika, any thoughts on how the current class is finding courses and perspectives?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's just like the name, just as the name implies. Essentially, the track helps us, examine epistemological and ideological aspects of the body of knowledge, especially body of knowledge produced in the history of, in the African context, generally just a deep dive into different, ideologies and theories. So it's a sort of critical analysis of different perspectives to life, to theories out there, to doing things, to organizing, to working, to living, essentially, So with courses like diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, for instance, here you look at topics like gender identity and its intersection with other types of identity and development issues and things like that.
It's the fact that the NUTM mission is really about producing that next generation of African leaders, right? And you're not going to be a leader in isolation. The world is a global village. So whatever it is you're doing, whether you're working or you're an entrepreneur, the customers will not always be local. They may be global. So it's so important to bring in those broader perspectives into your own ambition or the problems you're trying to solve and how you're coming up with those solutions, right? Okay.
Just to add to that, I mean, these courses just give you multiple dimension perspective and teach you how to think from, different ways and look at things from different lenses. And that just helps you give perspective of an overall picture, basically.
Please talk about the financial implication of this. Can you retype your question in a way that we understand what you're saying, right? Then someone's asking about if there's a reason why there are just 29 scholars in this cohorts. It's it's a function of change, right? So you're coming in from a time where it's a fully funded scholarship, so there's no cost to it. So everyone takes up the offer. As you then shift, not everyone takes up the offer because either they can't afford it or they don't want to pay for it. So it's as simple as that, really. It's just a function of the shift. Okay. What are the systematics for being a beneficiary? Like I said, those decisions are made by, there's a committee that makes those decisions, right? And I've said that going forward, we're not able to maintain a fully funded scholarship, so we're going to slowly ramp up. As long as if you get an offer this year, the fee that you are being asked to pay is already at a 77% discount of what it cost us. So it's not some profit making, there's no margin, it's just cost. And that is heavily discounted at 77%. But yeah, there are cases where people do writing. And when people write in, that's right. Or that writing goes into what we call the Financial Aids Committee. And the guiding principles in there are, is this person from, a geographically difficult area, or, that's the only basis, right? Is this person an international student? And are some of those considerations also applying in terms of just that financially difficult area? So it's really a need-based scholarship that still exists, and it's determined by a committee called the Financial Aids Committee. Okay. You have how do I prepare for my interviews? I mean, for your interviews, it's really about understanding your own application. So the application, so it starts way before the interview. It starts with your application. It starts with why you chose to apply in the first place. So just where are you at this point in time, and what are these demonstrated examples of your leadership potential, of your entrepreneurial potential, your curious mindset, your passion for the region, right? So it starts way before the interview, and once you've then made your application, it's important that you can speak to that, right? So during the telephone interviews, it's really just engaging with you to understand some of the things you've put forward in your application and all that. So that's really what it's about. We're just really trying to get to know you at every point, right? Whether it's the written application or talking to you on the phone, is really just trying to understand your person and who you are and what you've done, and just to see if we are right for each other, right? What is the fee for the NUTM Scholars Program? So for this year, it's 4.5 million naira. What type of support do NSP alumni get from NUTM? I think I have my boss to talk to me about that one. Nicholas, are you available to speak? Okay. Well, career readiness is a part of the NUTM Scholars Program that we're starting to ramp up on. So some of the support you get have to do with that. How do we channel opportunities your way as an alumni? How do we foster connection between you and other classes, right? So that what you all do kind of influence all your endeavors and things like that. So that's really it. It's a very young part of the NUTM and NSP, right? So we're currently in our third course, so we only have 2 previous classes that we call alumni, and we're just now putting all of kind of the mechanisms in place to ensure that we stay connected and we know how to channel opportunities your way, and that for us is our priority in the next 2 years, is really just getting that alumni network to be connected, to be bonded, and then ensuring that it becomes a space for knowledge sharing, for opportunity sharing, and being useful to everyone in the NUTM family. And just to be clear on the fees, what you have to understand is it's costing us. It costs us 21 million naira. So when we say the first class and the second class got fully funded scholarships, it wasn't free. Someone paid that 21 million naira, right? So when we are saying to participate in the program now is 4.5 million naira, it is heavily discounted. So let me see. There's a question about attendance policy. Yes, there is an attendance policy. I think you only get a chance to miss 20% of any particular course. Every time you miss more than 20% of a course, you automatically get F for that course. And I think, Chika, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, you can only get 2 Fs, and after that you have to fail out of the program.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, thank you very much. Checking. Okay. Any other questions? I think we've taken the question on if you can work while the program is going on, and we've talked about that. While we can't insist, we do not recommend it, and it's probably best to check that your life can accommodate this kind of program at this time. When you have your hand up, please do you mind typing your question? Okay, so someone wants to hear from the scholars. Again, that would be difficult. Having people speak would be difficult to stay within the 1 hour. So, which is why we didn't have that conversation, because we can manage brevity. However, we do have like scholar journals. So if you check our YouTube or check our social media platforms, you will find videos of our scholars speaking to what the experiences have been like. And if there's any current scholar on the call and you like someone to be able to reach you, you can drop your NSP email address, right? And then that way, that's if you don't mind being contacted so that people can hear directly from you about your current experience. So that would be that. You're asking how should the reference letter be structured? I think that's really completely up to you. I think there are standard templates out there in terms of reference letters. What we're trying to get from your reference letter is to find out if someone in your academic space, in your professional space, what do they think about you? They've known you longer, right? That's just giving us this additional information, additional color about someone who's known you in an academic or professional setting. Personal references from family members are not allowed. So in terms of structure, I think just find a standard template that exists for providing references. It doesn't need to be too long. A one-page reference letter will suffice. We just need a sense of who is this person, what's their relationship to you, and then what of course you have to tell them about the program you're applying for, so that they can help to highlight your strengths that make you suitable for the program, or just or not, whatever it is they believe about you. So that's that. Yes, and then I've just been reminded actually that even as we build all these activities to get alumni involved and engaged, we will have separate webinars that has past scholars and alumni, right? So in those kind of sessions, you'll be able to then engage with them, but that to be dedicated to that, so that we don't go off on any tangents. So we're not diving deep into scholars' experiences on this call, but we will set up other calls for that. That's a good question. Why should I pick this program over a master's degree? It's a matter of preference. This program is equivalent to any master's anywhere in the world. It's pretty much like a STEM MBA. The reason we don't call it a degree is because we're still in the process of securing our NEC license. So we're not a degree awarding institution yet. So, but because we're piloting and basically just getting our engine set up for, offering degrees, the content is the same anyway, right? The global faculty that we're using is still the same. So you do this program is more attractive to people who are not really hunting a certificate, a degree, right? Like, okay, I want a BSc or I want an MA, but if you're after a very transformative experience where you okay, Anne, I see your hand up. I would unmute you in a minute. Anne is one of our current scholars, and I know she has a bit of her own community who are probably on the call as well. But in terms of why do this for a master's program, again, it depends on just who you are, what you're trying to accomplish, what stage you are in life, and all of that. This program is like a STEM MBA. It's very transformative. It goes beyond just an academic curriculum. It goes into the core of who you are. When I showed you the courses, you can see some parts, half of it was green, the other part was gray. There's just so much experiential learning built into it. It's not entirely focused on just learning specific content. It has a lot of practical learning, and there's a lot of exposure to people from industry to learn from. So if that's where you are, if that's your learning style, where experiential learning is important to you or is effective for you, if coming to a space where you can connect with a very strong network is important to you, then yes, you might do this over a master's program, but it's really a matter of preference and stage. And I'm going to mute you temporarily, just find out. 1 second. Done.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to add to what Oji said, why you should, choose NUTM over a master's program. Like, that is if you want to. So the major thing is a master's program is narrow. So if you want to go for a master's program, that means you're going for a master's program in a particular course. But if you want to come to NUTM, you will definitely get some of what you learn in that particular course plus other courses too. And then there are like a lot of extras. And even apart from the academic part, there's the connections you make. You meet a lot of people. There's equally the community that you would join. So with that, I would even advise anybody that wants to join, you can come to NUTM, and it doesn't even stop you from going for your master's program after. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Anne. Okay. So go back and see other questions. Can prospective students visit the campus? The short answer to that is yes, but we don't have the capacity to kind of do tours and be taking you around. It's just, again, it's a new university. The team is extremely lean. You can ask this current scholar that I can tell you how many we have. So it's not, and then we are also very protective of the campus space. Again, we started in the COVID year. So health and safety and all that is so paramount that it's not a process that we have where we invite people to come in and in terms of prospective applicants, we can't take the pressure. We won't be able to. It's not a sustainable thing that we can do. But there's an admin area. So if you came in because you were in Landmark and you wanted to speak to someone, as long as that person is not in meetings and is available to speak to you, you can speak to someone in the admin. But in terms of like a venue recce and all of that, then walk around the campus, no, not really. That's not really available at the moment. Okay, let me. Okay, my official transfer form is now. So the person asking the question about the transcript, I think we've dealt with that to say that if your transcript is pending, go ahead with your application. Just bear in mind that you won't be able to then register and actually start the program if we don't have a copy of your transcript, right? Because that's what we then keep in our records as, okay, this person has completed an undergraduate degree, and then we understand what they scored, because that feeds into assessing you in terms of fit for the class, in addition to many other things. So hope that helps your question. So can we request it? I'm not sure I understand what your question. Are you saying that for the person who's asking, for someone who doesn't have a transcript yet, can we request it to be sent to NUTM? The answer is yes. So if one of those, you can, while you're applying, you can get your university to send the transcript directly to us. So that's fine. Okay. Let's see, next question. Do I have to complete the application, the entire application in one sitting? No, you do not. You can create your profile and come to it over a period of time. We do even encourage you to take your time with it. It's a very, we think it is a very special program. It's a very special program. We put a lot of heart and thought into it. And it's a great opportunity, right? So you're getting the exact value without having to leave the country. And so it for us is important. And I think to put forward any good application, you should give it some time. So yeah, so no, you don't have to do it in one sitting. Give it some time, but try and apply early, because the earlier you apply, the earlier your application gets reviewed. Okay, so to the person who applied last year and wasn't picked, no, it doesn't affect your chances this year, right? There's very separate applications, so please go ahead and put in an application, and then just see what you can learn from your application last year. How, what kind of effort did you put in your essays? Were you clear? And things like that. Did you put your best foot forward and your strengths forward? So no, you're applying in the previous year doesn't affect your chances of applying in the subsequent year. I think we've already addressed this issue about what we want to say in our application. We just want to get to know you, right? So just tell us about you, answer the questions as honestly as you can, but take your time with it, find good examples, help us see, I call it evidence of your claims. So what are the things you've done? If you say, I am this type of person, try to see if you can find examples that, in your story, your history that can support that. So that's really, you just fill the form, right? Answer the questions, fill the fields, and then give your essay your best shot. And your question is there an option to defer at the admission offer? No, that's not something we're able to do at the moment, right? No, you can't defer your admission offer. Okay. Okay. What are the important dates for the NUTM Scholars Program? I think I'm happy to reshare that slide that we talked about earlier. And we talked about, so the key dates are the round dates, right? Round 1 is open right now and closes 17th of March. So once 17th of March comes, we start to process all the applications we received in that round and start to go through the first stage process. Round 2 starts 18th of March and ends 30th of April. And the third round starts 1st of May and ends 16th of June. So all things being equal, we should be able to start pre-term by 28th of August. And then you'll be able to resume on campus 18th of September later on this year. Okay, sounds like we have most of our questions. Any other question? You're asking who conducts the interviews. The telephone interviews are done by members of the team, right? Different members of the team, the admissions team. And the personal interviews are panel interviews, and that is conducted by members of industry, senior leaders in academia, and then they do that in collaboration with one senior member of the team. Yeah. Okay, someone is asking again about applying for full scholarship. And what I would say it again, there is no readily available full scholarship for this year. What you have is, rather than paying 21 million, we're asking you to pay 4.5 million. However, we remain open to hearing people out. And these are people from geographically difficult areas, or people, international students who have a similar need-based situation, which that can then be sent to us, and we will send it off to the financial aid committee, and those people have the metrics and criteria within which they assess those kind of requests. But in terms of standard, there is just no full-time scholarship available for this year. additional discounts are available for those people that I mentioned, right? People from geographically difficult areas, international students who also have a similar challenging situations, also applicants with special needs. To those types, in those scenarios, you can send in a special request, and then that would then be processed and to go through a financial aids committee process. But in terms of full scholarships, no, there is none available except for these categories of people for this year. You talked about what skills, background, or technical experience do I need to be a part of the program? It's interesting. I mean, it's so diverse, and again, you can speak to people who've been through the program. People are just from different aspects, but the common thread is really that academic excellence in your journey, the curious mindset, that passion for just being a change maker, right? And then that comes across as we go through the admissions process. So there isn't a specific skill. This is a learning environment, it's a growing environment, but that right mindset helps. So the growth mindset, the curious mindset, that entrepreneurial mindset, those things definitely do help. But yeah, you do not require any specific skill or specific background or specific technical experience to be able to apply and be part of the NUTM Scholars Program. You asked about, if selected, when do you pay for the program? So if you apply in round one, there's a bit of a gap between round one and when pre-term starts. So you could pay in installments during that window, but you do have to have finished paying before you can register and resume pre-term. You asked, what qualification would you receive after completing NSP? That's a good question. So I mentioned earlier that we do not have our National Universities Commission license yet. So that means that we're not a degree awarding institution, which is why it's important for us to make this a postgraduate fellowship program, which is not a degree. Again, you benefit from its mirroring everything that a degree does. So the qualification you get is a certificate in technology, entrepreneurship, and design from NUTM, not a degree. Okay. Other questions? You're asking about mentorship. So who will be your mentors? So your mentors are what they call it, professionals, so pioneers, leaders in their fields, people who have created organizations, people who have led multinational companies, and they will come from different sectors. So they're not from any specific sector, but they will be leaders in their own right and demonstrable leaders in their own right. And then we try to forge relationships with them and see the ones that are right for you to mentor you. Okay. So again, I think I'll just keep directing you to our website. For those interested, you go to our website, you will find you'll be able to download the brochure, and it will have a lot more information. And we do encourage you to please put in your application as soon as possible, but do so thoughtfully and carefully so that you can put your best foot forward. I think I have a question here. The additional discount, please, to what extent in addition? These are decisions that will be taken by the Financial Aids Committee with many other considerations that I'm unable to say to you here because a committee needs to sit with it. So I hope that helps for now. It's how will I put it? There is no, there's no bucket allocated. So that request is going into a Financial Aids Committee, and it is really up to what is possible. And at that point, that is communicated to you. Wait for another 5 minutes if there's any other question. If not, we would have done well and we can stay within time. Have the rest of your evening. Okay. Okay, doesn't look like we have any additional questions. So give it 2 minutes to 7:50. Okay. So at this point, it doesn't look like there are any other questions, but like I said, please download our brochure from the website, and there will be information sessions like this with every round. So please check your mails regularly, and for those who've registered, we will be communicating with you just to find out how your application process is going. So please check your junk. Sometimes because we use third-party platforms to send out bulk messages, sometimes it can go to your junk. So please keep looking out for it. I do have one more question here saying, how relatable are the courses to an MBA program? I would say they're very relatable. And like I said earlier, you can see like a STEM MBA, so it covers everything that an MBA would cover, whether and in terms of business, because we talked about the 6 tracks earlier, and there is the management track and the leadership track. So it is very relatable to an MBA program. That's it. So I think at 7:50, there's no other question. We'll round this up. Okay, it's 7:50. Thank you very much for your time. We encourage you to please apply and read more about us. And we look forward to getting to know you at different points for the process. And the team is always here to respond. You have our email addresses at nsp.admissions@nutmng.org. You can also reach us on nutmpmo@nutmng.org. Then yeah, so please do not hesitate to reach out to us should you have any questions. Okay, so thank you very much. Enjoy your evening.
Oji, sorry to cut you off. I think we have 2 more questions.
Okay. Which is sorry, could you read it out? Which question is that?
Yes, I think what kind of opportunities and support do our scholars get when job searching?
So that's where our career readiness programs come in. Again, I showed you that program structure and the curriculum. So we deal with it. We do careers clinics. We plan for career fairs. But again, it's important to understand the spirit of the program, right? Spirit of the program is very important to key into in fact, when you make into the program, you are best in class, right? You are best in class. You have demonstrated drive, you have demonstrated ambition, you have demonstrated so much. So we do encourage you to be resourceful, but at every point through the program, in fact, everything we do in terms of the courses and the experiential learning and exposing you to industry mentors and having all the guest sessions that we do weekly, and having communication, and we have, how do you create a winning CV? And there are all of these workshops that happen throughout, right, to arm you, to equip you, but you still have to go and figure out what you want to do and fight for it and push for it. What we do is arm you and give you tools, right, and give you kind of expose you to opportunities and expose you to different networks that are outside of the networks you had, right, because of the nature of how the program is structured and our relationship with industry. She said there were 2. Or they're the same.
Yeah, I think the other question is that is there a way they can get a recording of this session?
Yeah, actually, what we'll do is put this on our YouTube. We would tidy this up and then put it on our YouTube. Then please, how do they find us on YouTube?
Hi, OG.
Hi, I was asking about how the YouTube channel, how they can find us on YouTube, so that because this recording will be
So, all right, just search for NUTM NG on YouTube. You'll see us on YouTube. NUTM
and our other
NG.
social media handles
At NUTM NG across board at NUTM NG on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn is the Nigerian University of Technology and Management on LinkedIn, and across board at NUTM NG.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
That answers the question about getting the recording. So yes, this will be put on YouTube. Okay. Aisha, can we close?
Yes.
So we gift you back 8 minutes of your time. Thank you very much again for your interest in NUTM, and we do hope to see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.